And we're back. We're here today with my esteemed interview guest, Cheryl, who is a model extraordinaire, cosplayer, just an overwhelming, charming personality who's reached out to the Faking Star Wars site in the last few months. We've had a lot of correspondence with you on Twitter. We are just thrilled to have you here today.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Great. Well, I guess what our fans want to know generally is how you got to where you are in terms of what you're doing with Star Wars cosplay, modeling, your Twitter and Instagram. How did you end up getting where you are today?
So it kind of just started out with collecting nerdy t-shirts. And then the site Black Milk Clothing, I saw that they had a Star Wars line and they had these like really cute Star Wars dresses and swimsuits. So bought a couple of those, posted some pictures on Twitter, and then some of my followers suggested doing cosplay, and I thought it sounded really fun. So that was kind of how I got the ball rolling.
Now, were those
My
friends, were they Star Wars fans or were they cosplayers themselves or just kind of?
they were I have a lot of Star Wars kind of fans that I follow and follow me. But one of them was a cosplayer too.
Oh, cool. Great, great. I see you have in the background, you have a lot of the, what are they called? The pop
Oh yeah.
dolls, whatever.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have a lot of Funko Pops.
it's amazing how those have really just blown up the last few years, and I think a lot of that is due to Star Wars popularity and merchandising.
Yeah, I think so too. And they're a lot more affordable than some of the other collections, so it's just kind of fun and easy.
Great. So when you were younger, I mean, I don't know which generation of Star Wars I'm going to put you at. I'm an original trilogy person. I saw the originals in the theater. I'm guessing that you probably weren't born then.
I was not.
Yeah. So you're kind of maybe in the middle, in between like prequel and original trilogy in terms of like which ones you saw first, or
Yeah, well, so both of my parents were Star Wars fans. So I grew up, they showed me the original trilogy when I was pretty young. And I saw all the prequels in the movie theaters with my dad.
wow,
So it
wow.
was a lot of fun.
So were you interested in costumes back then? I mean, did you dress up like Padme or other characters for Halloween or things like that
You
when you were a kid?
know, I never did as a kid. I was kind of weird. Around Halloween, my mom always wanted me to be really girly, and I never wanted that. So, like in second grade, I dressed up as a Grim Reaper. I think just
Oh,
to
wow.
rebel a little bit. But no, I never dressed up as anything Star Wars as a kid. We did
Okay.
have some of those retractable lightsabers though that my sisters and I would just attack each other with.
Great, great. Well, what was one of the craziest or funniest or most interesting things that happened to you, I guess, in the last, how long have you been doing cosplay? You said about a couple years?
Um, a few years.
Years?
I think since yeah, probably about 5 years.
Okay. So what was one of the most interesting things or craziest experiences you've had so far? Do you even want to say?
So one of the craziest experience I had, it was at New York Comic Con. I was dressed up as Han Solo, and my friend was dressed up as like a sexy Chewbacca. And neither of us are very assertive people, and it was one of the first few cons we went to. This really thin guy came up and asked if he could pick me up for a picture, and I was just like, "Oh, okay." So he barely picks me up, um, and then he asked my friend to do the same thing, and she doesn't weigh very much more than me. She's a little taller,
Mhm.
and he dropped her.
Ooh, hopefully not on the head.
No, not on the head, but it was pretty funny.
You see, I don't have that experience. I mean, you're doing kind of transvestite trans species cosplay. I mean, it's two women, one dressing as a Wookiee, one dressing as a male human.
Yeah.
When I do that, when I go out and dress like the Queen Amidala in the ring, like with my midriff, I don't have that reaction from women. I don't understand. They don't try to come over and hit on me. I don't understand
Oh
it.
man. I would definitely ask you for a picture of me picking you up.
Maybe I'll have to do that at Star Wars Celebration in Chicago this year. See how it
Oh,
goes. It can be a faking Star Wars exclusive. Storm Duper bears his midriff. So.
that'd be amazing.
Well, since you've been into this, I mean, would you say you're doing more cosplay than modeling, or kind of half and half? I know you do merchandising with a few websites, right?
Yeah. I'd say it's kind of half and half. It really just depends on how lazy I'm being.
I see. Which one is
It's
more difficult, or which one comes to you more easily, I guess?
I think cosplay is more difficult because some of the costumes can be really intricate and you end up putting a lot more work into them than you expect.
It's sort of like going down the Sarlacc pit. I mean, at first it looks like it's just a little hole, but you just keep digging deeper, and it's this
Oh
immense
yeah,
expanse, right?
exactly.
Very good. Do you follow like any kind of special Star Wars health regimen or diet to keep yourself in shape for your jobs or your gigs that you've got?
I'm gonna be really honest. I do not eat very well. Like I do eat a lot of vegetables, but I also eat a lot of junk food. I do work out a lot, but I don't have the self-control to not eat
So,
sweets.
so StarWars.com just started releasing. I think it's called the Fuel for Change or the Fuel for Force or something. It's sort of an app or an initiative to help get Star Wars fans out there being active. I think because they don't want all the 40-year-old neckbeard pizza eaters like myself to die of coronary heart attack when they're 50. It expands their market share, right? Have you heard of that initiative, or do you have any suggestions for fans who maybe have suffered from a bit of the Star Wars couch potato syndrome and want to get out there being a little bit more active in the new year?
I haven't heard of it. I definitely want to check it out now. I think the biggest thing is to just take it slow, you know, if you just work out for 15 minutes a day at first, it's just, you know, get your foot in the door. You don't have to commit to something crazy right off the bat.
I mean, you don't have to go from being a scavenger on Jakku one day to fighting the Darkest Lord of the Sith in the galaxy that afternoon, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that sounds like a terrible idea for a film, also, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah, I do.
Great.
Bit of a
Well,
stretch.
if you could be like a character, I mean, I know you are sort of, you're C3PO on Twitter, 3CPWhoa, is that right?
Yeah.
WHOA. Is that your favorite character in the galaxy?
No, I do love the droids. I love C3PO and R2D2 bickering, and they offer a lot of comic relief. Yay! Oh, I have one over there too.
Oh, very good. They can play over
I
the
have
internet.
both.
They don't have to talk to each other over Skype, but
Amazing. Yes. Man, I think my favorite character is probably Han Solo.
did you like the solo film? A lot of people had different reactions to it.
I really love the Han Solo movie. I think that it didn't do as well in the theaters because it had some backlash from The Last Jedi and people were a little more skeptical for seeing it, but I thought it was a great movie.
I think I liked it maybe more than I would have if I had kind of gone in full on like informed like I usually do with new movies in terms of reading leaks and everything. But I sort of lost interest and I decided, hey, I'm going to do this one completely fresh. And so I really didn't know what to expect. And I thought it was a great fun movie, you know?
Yeah, I completely agree. And I did the same thing. And I thought I would have trouble with Han Solo not being Harrison Ford, but I didn't at all.
Yeah, I think Alden did a great job. There were a lot of interesting creatures and costumes in that movie. I was talking to a cosplayer a few weeks back who's more of a cosplayer than a Star Wars fan, and she didn't really know too much about the solo film. And yourself, you're more of a fan. If you could choose one costume, new character from the solo film to his cosplay, who do you think you would go for? I know it's a tough question on the spot, but
No, no, not at all. I loved Kira in that black dress when Han sees her for the first time after a few years. I just love that outfit. And I also loved all Lando's capes.
oh yes. Well, we're actually thinking about doing an ad for Lando's Cape Emporium on the next episode.
Mhm.
So,
You should.
um, I thought the scene where in Star Wars always has sort of this trope of having like the little side band performance, when there's like a party.
Hmm.
Going back to 1977 with the Jizz band. Sorry, you could not name it that today. That would not fly in the face of Triple X websites. People now know what that means. That is the name George Lucas chose,
Yep.
for the but you've got that. You had the band in Force Awakens that sang the song that Lin-Manuel Miranda co-wrote with J.J. Abrams, and then we
Mhm.
had this awesome lounge singer who, to me, it seemed like it was a bit of like a Leonard Cohen, Serge Gainsbourg kind of French lounge singer, dressed all in gold with that little kind of creature in the tank. What did you think about those costumes?
Oh, I thought they were really, really intricate. That was a lot of fun. It kind of reminded me of, gosh, what is that? What's that Bruce Willis movie? I'm drawing a blank.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, The Fifth Element, maybe.
yeah, it kind of
Yeah.
reminded me of that opera scene a little bit. But
Oh, sure. I hadn't thought of that, but like there was that the singer, whatever she's called, the blue woman who kind of had the stones hidden inside her. Right. Yeah. Good.
yeah,
Good
just
pull.
thanks. Just a really cool alien feel. I liked it a lot.
Very good. Good. Well, I mean, of course, we're all excited for episode 9. There hasn't been too many leaks with photos of new costumes that I've seen. Are you excited to see, I guess, which character arc or which for the new movie are you most interested in seeing?
I'm I'm really interested to see where the Kylo storyline goes because he kind of had an opportunity to steer away from the dark side and he chose not to go that route.
Right.
Um,
Twice, right? He had an opportunity
yeah,
in both films.
yeah. So I kind of want to see how that ends,
Are
and I
you
thought
are
it.
you a Raylo supporter?
I'm not really on either side, honestly. Like it definitely won't bother me. They're two attractive people. But yeah, I don't know. They had their moments in The Last Jedi where it kind of felt like there was a bit of a romantic connection, but
And Daddy, Uncle Luke had to come in and spoil it all, right?
oh yeah.
See, I don't want to believe that they're just trolling fans with that sort of sexual tension and just being mean to people who really want to see it happen. But I also think that they don't want to do the predictable thing either. So I'm not really sure where it's going.
Yeah, I don't know either. But yeah,
Hmm.
that would be kind of mean. There's a lot of Reylo shippers out there, a lot of fanfics.
There are, aren't there? I've tried to stay clear of some of them. I got to keep the mind clean for the podcast. So,
Oh yeah.
so
You never know what you're getting into when you open up a fan fiction.
yeah, yeah. Never Google certain things, right, from Star Wars unless you want a real surprise. So I guess thinking about being a cosplayer and being a part of fandom, a lot of people have been talking about gender and Star Wars has been a really big, important issue, I think, from Star Wars inception, right? I mean, Princess Leia is one of the strongest female characters that I can remember seeing on film, but it's definitely true that Star Wars has always sort of been a bit of a boys' club. I think that's changing, probably for the good. Um, but there's also this stream of kind of toxic fandom who has reacted negatively towards having a leading role, for Rey and things like that. Have you found yourself in the middle of any kind of arguments on Twitter with these toxic fan trolls who want everything to be, make America great again and women should be in the kitchen cooking pancakes?
No, I typically try to avoid those kinds of conversations. I
Yeah.
think Star Wars fans can sometimes jump the gun a little bit in arguments, so for the
I
most part, I
don't know
try to
what
steer
about.
clear.
So what with regards to Rose, what if I might ask, what was the argument about?
So I didn't like the whole I didn't mind her so much as a character, but I didn't like the whole end thing where she stopped Finn from killing himself and like confessed her love to him
Yeah,
after really the whole movie was only what like 12 hours of a time frame.
of world time in world time. Yeah,
Yeah. So I
amazing how you
guess
fall in love that quickly, right?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess you never know, but
I mean, it has happened to me. I mean, I don't take my helmet off at conventions and stuff, but I've had many people come up to me after just seeing me from afar, with a box of chocolates and saying, "Would you be my Valentine?" Uh, so I could understand, I could relate,
all
but
right, all right.
but I do see what you're saying. For that's not everybody's experience. Let's be honest.
Yeah. But I guess
But it was cool that they tried to do something different with her character. We've never really seen a character quite like her in terms
mhm.
of her being like just a nobody in the Rebel Alliance, and kind of ascend to, some importance. But yeah, I kind of agree with you that the romance I could have probably done without. It didn't really
Yeah.
feel like it added much to the character.
Yeah, I just thought it felt too rushed and I actually would like if they ever made more movies or anything, I'd like to know more about Rose's sister. She seemed really badass in the
Oh
beginning.
yeah, I loved the beginning scene with her. It was too bad that we didn't get to know more about her.
Yeah,
What's her name? Paige, is that right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I need to
This is
rewatch
going
it.
to sound very sexist, and I'm sorry to say this, but I don't know why they didn't have that actress play Rose.
I
She is a really
agree.
amazing actress. I don't know if you've seen any other stuff she's done. She is
Oh, yeah.
incredible. And she really would have added a little bit more energy, I think, to the part than not that the woman that played Rose is bad, but
Mhm.
the other actress I think is just sensational. I was shocked that
Yeah,
they didn't switch it up.
I agree too. I was really upset when she died right in the beginning.
Right. Well, thinking about the new sequels, there's TV shows going on, there's cartoons, there's all kinds of different Star Wars properties. Which one do you sort of find yourself coming back to, I guess, as your home space in Star Wars world when you're looking for inspiration for cosplay?
Um, that is a good question. I guess I don't really. There's a few. I'd really like to do either a Sabine cosplay or a Boba Fett. But I do struggle with working with the EVA foam and making the armor, so that would be a challenge for me.
We have some context. I have an interview with a guy in Crawfordsville, Indiana, who's done all kinds of costume stuff, and he's got all kinds of machining and stuff, and he could probably point you in the right direction.
Oh yeah, that would be
We're
great.
all about keeping people's dreams alive here on the podcast
Yeah,
and putting people in contact with each other. So,
that would be awesome.
like, what's the craziest costume you've seen? Maybe not your own, but like another costume that you got to be a part of or see firsthand.
Um, I saw. Oh, it's not Star Wars related. Is that okay?
Sure.
There was at New York Comic Con, somebody did a Hodor from Game of Thrones cosplay, but they like had a giant door behind them. It was
Wow, that's good.
pretty awesome.
My dream has always been to do Empire Strikes Back to tank Luke. But I can't figure out
Wow.
a way to be able to walk while I have oxygen regulators hidden, on my costume. And I think it'd be quite heavy, I mean, 100 gallons of water. Do you have any suggestions for how I might pull that
Oh
off?
man, I'm gonna have to think of this one.
Great. Well, you've been in the Star Wars realm. You're well liked on Twitter. You have a great following. You seem to have a good attitude about what all this means. You don't take yourself too seriously. Where do you see yourself going in the next few years with this? Are you going to continue to go to conventions and things like that, or?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna continue to go to conventions and work on new costumes. I don't really have any other plans besides that. This is kind of more of a hobby for me than a full-time job like some cosplayers. It would be cool if I got to that point eventually, but we'll see.
With time, my young
Yeah.
Padawan. So once you're on this podcast, I mean, you're gonna have calls just ringing off the hook. All two listeners they're not gonna stop bothering you. Trust me. So tell us a little bit about your T-shirt. I want to ask you about that because I think I've seen that design before, but I'm not sure.
Yes.
So,
Well, you guys gave me this lovely flirty Kenobi t-shirt.
hmm
See, I got the back faking Star Wars too. You can
that's
see
right.
it.
Yeah, I've never actually seen anyone wearing that design. I almost bought one for my wife, but I don't think she'd wear it.
I
So I'm
love
actually
it.
wearing our new podcast promo T-shirt here with
Very nice.
myself, IG, and T Bronter. So,
I love it.
but cool. So have you gotten have you been on the site to see like what T-shirts we have? Are there any others that you thought were cool? This is a shameless production here, shameless promotion here. So.
I looked through them all. I loved a lot of them. They're very funny. This one definitely stood out to me. I get a lot of looks when I wear it.
Not when you don't. When you don't, there's nobody's looking, right? It's just
Oh
like
no.
I'm sure it's just the T-shirt. I'm sure.
I want to take a picture wearing this t-shirt doing the same pose with my Ultra Saber. I think it'd
Do
be
that.
fun.
We put that on the website. If you do
Yeah,
that, promise that will be on our website.
that would
So
be great.
it probably will be the most popular article we've ever done if you do that. Cool. Well, it's an interesting thing having the opportunity to interview somebody who's taking Star Wars as a hobby, not taking it too seriously. But there are people who don't understand what that's like, right? We've gotten death threats. We've gotten all kinds of crazy obsessed fans who have tried to destroy us with all kinds of, hacking routines on our website and all kinds of things. So how do you sort of insulate yourself from the nutsiness that some fandom can be?
Oh man, yeah, that's awful.
I mean,
I
especially as a woman,
mostly,
I would feel like it's probably even more intense. I mean, I'm not trying to, just shamelessly promote you, but I mean,
oh no,
there are less attractive women in Star Wars fandom than not, right? And I get the impression that sometimes there's a lot of single men who don't really know how to interact with people, and when they meet somebody who has a shared interest, they could go nuts. I mean,
yeah,
it happens. So how do you keep yourself safe?
I just, I usually feel pretty safe at cons because there's a lot of people around, and I'm usually with, some friends. I did have a weird incident. I was supposed to do this podcast with you guys back in October, as you know,
That's
but
right.
I got somebody got my phone number, and started sending me some creepy text messages.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding? Wow.
No, I'm pretty sure I could not find my phone number searching online at all. So I'm pretty sure it was somebody I know in real life that was messing with me.
Like maybe it was
But
a guy who liked you, but you didn't reciprocate or something like that.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Weird.
Um,
Oh,
but Star Wars fans at cons, at least, the weirdest thing I've had, a lot of guys seem to want to ask me trivia questions, and it's a pretty big universe for
right.
knowing. They're like, what's the Wookiee home planet? I'm like, Kashyyyk. I don't know if I said that right. Bye. Like, speed walk away.
We actually wanted to do a trivia event as part of the podcast, but we just haven't figured out a format yet where it doesn't come off as being self-aggrandizing. Because I am the 300th best trivia Star Wars player in the world, and I just didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Do you have any suggestions for how we could do a trivia event like that that's cool and fun and not stupid?
Hmm. That. And you guys all live in different states, right?
Oh well, different countries. Yeah, we're all over
Oh,
the
wow.
place.
Okay.
We're taking over the world. We're on
That
every
makes it.
continent, I think, almost. A Star Wars,
Wow.
Faking Star Wars podcast has been recorded on 3 continents, I think. I'm
It's
trying to
pretty
remember.
amazing.
But yeah. So,
Wow. The best trivia I've seen have usually been in like bars. Um, I'll have to think about it. A good way to do it online. Because that would
yeah.
be fun when you're expecting the trivia.
Would you be interested if we did do a trivia event as being one of the contestants? Would that be something you'd be interested in doing?
Sure. I don't know how well I do, but I try.
Great, great. Well, we're still is a work in progress for 2019. It might be a few months from now, but we're trying to get the word out there. That's one of the things we're planning with the website. The other is continuing merchandising. We constantly have new T-shirt designs. So if you're interested in being a model for some of our T-shirts, I'm sure we can work something out for that.
Yeah, of
Appreciate you
course.
wearing the Faking Star Wars T-shirt
Yeah.
today. What else is there anything else about you in terms of what you're doing? It doesn't have to be Star Wars necessarily that you'd like to tell fans about, you know, interests you have or things you're doing in the next year.
Mm, I don't have a whole lot planned right now. My kind of hiatus from social media slowed everything down.
So you actually dropped out when that incident happened, like you closed your own accounts and everything.
Yeah, I closed my Twitter and Instagram account, and I just came back in January.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it was
Did
like,
they find the person? I mean, was there any legal ramifications or anything like that?
no, they never threatened me, so there wasn't really anything I could call the police for. It was just very creepy.
Okay. If it would help you in terms of bring this person to justice, I could pretend to be them and threaten you, and then you could use that as evidence against that person. I'd be willing to do that, if it makes it any easier. Anyway, in
Feel.
all seriousness, I'm glad that you're okay, and we don't advocate any kind of obsession of any kind like that on the Star Wars us in the Star Wars world, except for total obsession with the new movies. This podcast really started as an effort in keeping fandom fun, right?
Yeah.
Talking about, speculating about, faking the new movies. So in that regard, what do you think the future holds for Star Wars? I mean, after Episode 9, we've got rumors of a Rian Johnson trilogy, although I'm not sure how that's going to play out, given the fans' reception of Last Jedi, a couple TV shows. What are you most excited for?
I'm excited that they're going to continue the Clone Wars. I was really excited for the Obi-Wan standalone movie, but it doesn't seem like that's for sure happening anymore.
Yeah, Solo took the wind out of that sail.
Yeah, that was disappointing. Yeah, they canceled all their standalones, right?
Well, I think they put them sort of on general hiatus,
Yeah.
I think the saturation was just so bad they needed to retool. I actually think they're going to wait until they fire Kathleen Kennedy before they put the green light to any more movies.
I'm pretty excited for the new Star Wars Disneyland thing they're doing. I'm really curious as to what that's going to be.
That's only going to be in the Florida location at first, right?
I think it's actually only going to be in the California location.
Oh, is it?
At
Okay.
first, I think.
So you're not
Not
too far
positive.
if you're in the Southwest, so that could be almost like a day trip, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm only like 7 hours from LA, so.
Oh, wow. Great. Well, I'm jealous because for me to make a trip out there, it's got to be like a whole week, basically.
Ugh,
So.
yeah.
So they're doing the Millennium Falcon ride, and I've heard, I'm sure there's going to be some kind of integration where depending on the costumes you wear or whatever, the lightsaber you buy, it'll be hooked into the park, so you can use your lightsaber to wave it in certain ways to get different reactions from elements in the park and things like that. That's what I've heard, at least.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. A lot of newer technology for Disneyland.
Excellent. All right. Well, it's good that you have free time. It sounds like you're not too busy. You're not booked up every weekend with Star Wars cosplay things. But thinking about cosplay, I mean, what cause, I guess, are you most interested in? I mean, there's Myanmar has had the horrible situation with the Burmese people in Myanmar. There's all kinds of violence in Darfur still. So which cause do you like to play with most?
That's a good question. Pretty concerned about how many people want to eat the adorable little Ewoks.
Oh, okay. That's a thing,
an
right?
issue.
Ewok menus and stuff like that, Ewok recipes.
I mean, they're wearing clothes. Like, you can't eat them.
It's just vengeance because they were going to eat Solo, right? Clothes and all. So
I know, that's true. C3PO stepped in.
That's right. He got things done, so.
He did.
Well, hey, I just want to ask you, in your personal experience, I guess, in Star Wars, first of all, what is your favorite cosplay you've done, and actually your least favorite Star Wars cosplay you've done?
So my favorite Star Wars cosplay I've done, everybody thought it was so weird when I came up with this idea. It's actually a mashup. It was right when Suicide Squad came out. I wanted to mash up Harley Quinn and Darth Vader.
Wow.
And everybody thought I was weird, but I went with it anyway. I ended up buying a Darth Vader swimsuit because Harley Quinn kind of has the like swimsuit type bottoms and
the short
it had
shorts
like
kind of thing or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I got the baseball bat, but it was a black one, and I painted on it. It's like one of the main quotes in Star Wars, and it was, "I find your lack of faith disturbing." Okay, sorry. I had a little panic there for a second. Sorry. Okay. So I had a black baseball bat and I painted on it, "I find your lack of faith disturbing." And then Harley Quinn wears a jacket that says "Property of the Joker," and I had a black version and it said "Property of the Dark Side." And then I had my red Ultra Saber, and it ended up looking really cool. And I still had the Harley Quinn wig. Oh, and she has a little collar that says "Pudding" on it. I put Vader on it.
Cool. Very
It was
cool.
a lot of fun. It got a lot of attention because it was different.
Where did you wear that one?
I wore it to Phoenix Comic-Con and LA Comic-Con that year. I don't remember what year that was, but
Yeah. In the last couple, I guess, because Suicide Squad I think came out in 2016, didn't it? I don't remember.
Something like that. Yeah, it was probably that year then.
Oh, cool. Great. I loved Harley Quinn. I thought she was a really interesting character actually in that movie. I didn't care for the movie too much, but that character was definitely the best one. She stole the
Yeah.
show.
Oh, she for sure did. She was so much fun.
Yeah.
And then my least favorite cosplay, Star Wars cosplay was I did a Sith Twi'lek, kind of just a general one,
Okay.
and the
Red?
body paint. Oh yeah, the body paint was so difficult. I'd never done it before, and
Wow.
I'm a procrastinator, so I didn't even try it till the day of the con. Took me like 3 or 4 hours to paint myself, and
Oh God.
then like it started coming off on my legs as I was walking throughout the day, like my thighs.
Oh right. It's just it's hitting stuff or whatever
Yeah.
as you
So
go.
I don't know about the whole body paint thing unless you buy one of those airbrush kits. That was difficult.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I haven't tried that myself, but I have seen like those videos of people that do body paint and then they'll go to like a gym and they'll be working out and stuff. And I'm like, how is it not coming off? Like they're sweating profusely. Like, what? So
Oh
I think
man.
there's some clever photo editing for some of those, but huh.
Yeah.
So that one didn't turn out too well. Would you try body paint again if you had the right setup?
Yeah, if I had the right setup and maybe a little more help
Yeah.
or more time.
The people I know that do, very, very intense, intricate costumes. I mean, it's almost like a team of people, really. Like I have a friend in Korea who does it, and her husband makes like all the stuff, and they have, a committee of people fitting it on, at the end or whatever. So
Yeah, that sounds like
that may be in your future if you keep your projects ambitious.
yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
have
that
anyone
sounds
who helps you? I
Oh,
mean,
no, go ahead.
do you have anyone who helps you with your costumes, or is it just
Um,
a solo thing?
I have I have a couple friends who go to cons with me. I do have a husband. He helped
Okay.
me with some of the painting like on my backside where I couldn't reach
Smart
as
to
well.
You probably didn't want anyone else doing that, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's fun to bounce off ideas from other cosplayers and stuff and get help with things I'm not as good at, like sewing. I'm not very good at sewing.
is your husband, is he also a cosplayer? Is it something you do together, or is it more your thing?
He's not. He does go to some of the cons with me. I like to call him the backpack guy.
Oh,
Car-
nice.
Carries the backpack with like emergency cosplay supplies and anything we buy at the cons.
Okay,
So,
very good. Well, so he still supports you in that. That's good.
oh yeah, of course.
Great.
Yeah.
It's always hard. I mean, my wife is not a super Star Wars fan, but she always is willing to go see the movies the first day with me, and I appreciate that. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, I sometimes go see them multiple times the first day, and she won't do that, but that's okay. So.
Yeah.
Great, great. Well, wonderful to hear. Just your background and history with different costumes. My Now I would have a special request for you that if you ever have the opportunity to go to a conference that some member from Faking Star Wars would be at, that you would give us just a 2 by 2 inch grid or somewhere on your costume with our literal goober icon. We could draw it in with like
Oh
or
yeah.
just a little secret. It could be somewhere that only like at the bottom of your foot, or somewhere that it would just, you could put it on our website later as like a little nod to us.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
would be very cool. So
That would be
Goober
fun.
Goober is taking over the world. We have seen him in places you wouldn't expect. I mean, yeah, at the Louvre, on the Mona Lisa, somebody drew him right onto the corner of the frame. You know, he is out there. But
Nice.
anyway,
Oh,
good. All right. Well, thank you, Cheryl. C3PWhoa. It's been a delight. And if there's anything you'd like to tell the fans, that are maybe interested in getting into cosplay now, your recommendations or anything else you'd like to tell our fans, go ahead.
well, yeah. I think anybody thinking about cosplay should definitely try it. I would recommend starting with something simple or easy, even if it's buying an already existing costume and just adjusting it, kind of just to get your foot in the door. But give yourself a lot of time before a con. Don't try and do everything a week before because that can be pretty stressful. I've been there. But yeah, definitely go for it. Anybody who's thinking about it, it's so much fun.
Great. Well, how can our fans find you? I mean, only the normal ones. We promise we won't send any crazy obsessed weirdos at you.
I mostly just use Twitter and Instagram, at C3PWhoa, spelled WHOA. You can always email me at C3PWhoa@gmail.com too. I try and answer most everything, unless
Okay.
it's really weird.
Very good. Well, it's been just an absolute pleasure having you on, and we look forward to future collaborations with the site and with the podcast. So thanks a lot for coming on, and we'll hopefully talk to you soon. So.
Thank you so much for having me.